Hello and thank you for watching. This is SDSE back again with LEGO Transformers T-Bone. T-Bone here is a duocon, meaning that these two cars transform into a single robot. Most duocons opt to have one land vehicle and one air vehicle, so I thought it would be interesting to have two land vehicles for a change. So let's look at both modes individually, starting with the race car. Here we have the race car half of T-Bone, which is effectively an aerodynamic wedge on wheels. I think it's kind of a nice look, the simplistic race car. It's got floodlights on the front, a little black spoiler, and the rims are white to kind of tie it together with the other component. Other than that, there's really not much to say. It's a pretty simple little build, so I guess it's on to the next. And here we have the SUV component of T-Bone, and I think this is by far the more interesting component. I can only really think of one other Transformer that turns into an SUV, that being Car Robot's X-Brawn. It's a surprisingly uncommon alt mode, so I think it's kind of neat to see it here. On top, being an SUV, it's got a little bike rack, or maybe you could put a canoe up there. All of your sporting goods, really. It's got a nice trunk area, I guess, with some opaque taillights that might bother some people. The headlights here are clear, but the taillights are opaque. Personally, it doesn't really bother me. I think it looks fine, but I know some people might be sticklers for that kind of detail. For size comparison, here we have T-Bone with a minifigure. And sideswipe. That's all there is to say about this mode, so it's time to transform. And here we have T-Bone in his robot mode. In this mode, he's rather tall. He's got a Empurata style mono eye and this monstrous arm with the claws made out of the bike rack that was on the top of the SUV. And he's got a very interesting setup for the wheels on his back, which is a bit kibbly, especially since the windshield of the sports car also ends up on his butt. But he stands fine with it, so personally I'm okay with it. I really like the asymmetric look he's got going for him, what with the previously mentioned monster arm and the very normal looking arm here. I just think it's a nice dynamic. I also like how he kind of has the spoiler become little bits of waist armor there. For size comparison, here we have T-Bone with a minifigure. And with another Carbot, side swipe. When it comes to articulation, he's actually pretty much fully loaded. He's got a universal joint in each shoulder, and a hinge in the elbow that affords the range of a double joint. And just to show you, on this side, of course, he has the same movement. It's a bit loose. And then he also has a wrist swivel here, and a wrist bend, and these claws can move independently. The head can swivel and can look down. He can kind of rotate at the waist if you're careful. Then at the legs, he's got a universal joint at the hip, another hinge at the knee, and a bit of a hinge at the foot. No ankle pivot, unfortunately. With how articulated he is, it's pretty easy to get T-Bone into a good menacing pose. Well, that's about all there is to say about this guy, so I'll see you next time.